Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the U.S. Lacrosse facility in Sparks, Maryland, in Tierney Field for the IWLCA Senior All-Star Division II game. It is the third of three All-Star games to be played today here in Baltimore County, Maryland. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Monica Moore. We've had two thrilling games in Division III and Division I featuring a unique overtime even. What can D2 bring to us here today? Monica, I turn to you. I don't know if I can be entertained anymore.
Well, I'll tell you, we've had two very close games. We just had the Division I game decided by Braveheart rules in overtime. And I have to tell you, I am so excited about this Division II game. We have so much talent to cap off this game. And, of course, when you look at the coaches for these two squads, I'm very excited to see what they have in store for us here this afternoon.
You just saw the winner there by Hannah Haven in the Division I game, mano a mano with Anderson. It was a tremendous look there. You do have great coaches in the North and South for Division II. You also have incredible players and incredible stories. Looking forward to this. Let's talk about the coaches for Team North wearing the blue uniforms. It is one of the best in Division III in coaching. It's Gino, known as Ginny Martino. She graduated from UMass, but she is synonymous with Westchester. 22 seasons, 331 wins, winningest coach in Division II women's lacrosse history. She makes better record up there, by the way, 351. She's gotten her team to the national championship game every other year on average.
It's unbelievable what she has done with that program just year in and year out in terms of the numbers they put at the games won. And so, again, so excited to see her today with the blue team, but on the other end of the field.
Yeah, on the other side.
A great coach in her own right. You have Kelly Gallagher from the University of Tampa. She's been there for 6 years. Her team went 14-4 this year, and they won the SSE championship in overtime. Look at those goals, 19-18 to win that championship for the University of Tampa.
Well, that followed up a season last year where they were 12-6, which was the best in program history. They followed it up with being the best in program history this year. She's a graduate of Washington College, which is on the eastern shore of Maryland, Division III school. And again, it's an example. I think Division II is the true example of seeing where the game has migrated to Florida and where teams have become so good or talent has gone to Florida or programs like Tampa have sprouted up on the field.
We've had the blue team out on the field for quite some time. The white team's still in their huddle. They're still talking things over with Coach Gallagher. And now finally our goalkeeper heading back to the goal. It's going to be Ariane Pierre from Wingate University, our first goalkeeper.
The South is in the white uniforms. It's dark blue numbers in the front, light blue numbers on the back. I kind of like them. It's a neat look. The North is in the dark blue uniforms, white numbers and trim on both sides with a little light blue in there. And you see the goalies. You mentioned them there for the North. Trapani for Merrimack and Miller for New York Tech. Pretty good seasons, both of them, with those save percentages.
And let's go ahead and talk about it because we're going to be talking about it a lot today. In your draw control circle, you're going to see number 9 for the blue team. That's Hunter Isnardi.
There she is. 694
draw control wins in 77 games. You can do the math on that to figure out the draws averaged per game.
That's insane.
It is not an exaggeration to say that she's one of the best in the business.
And she uses her afterburners to scoop up. Nope, maybe not. Nope. Wasn't her cross for a moment there.
What a great pass looking up ahead. The South team, oh my goodness, you would think these players have played together for years.
That back and forth was textbook. These two teams may have gotten a little bit of time yesterday to hang out and play with each, a little practice or so. The pass in front, spin move, shot, just missed it on the near side was Benedetto, the Florida Southern, speaking of Florida, graduate biology major out of Rochester, New York. There's a lot of people up in the northern parts who went and found warmer climates to play lacrosse.
And, of course, Florida Southern is certainly a place you'd like to go in terms of the success that they've had. I think they have 3 representatives in this competition here today.
Pass in front, save! It's Trapani, the Amherst, New Hampshire native out of Merrimack, comes up with a big save. And you know what, Monica? Every single goalie we've seen out here today in now all 3 games has come up with huge saves.
And particularly in the beginning to set the tone. We talked about that in the Division III game where we had 2 big saves, one out of each goalkeeper to start things off to set the tone, and they're going to come right back at Trapani.
Yeah, they're not stopping it. Trapani can't stop that. That one scored by Lafleur to get things rolling. The Limestone graduate finds the back of the net, and we got a 1-0 lead for the South.
2019 Conference Carolina's Offensive Player of the Year, really showing her mettle right there on that goal, and a great start.
No lead has been safe, though. A 1-0 lead is not worth talking about, as both games have seen huge deficits disappear, including the D1 game, where an 8-3 lead by the North was matched by a 9-3 run by the South to take a 12-11 lead, then tied with just 30 seconds remaining, and then we went to the Braveheart overtime. So literally what I'm trying to say is the scoreboard is irrelevant right now. We'll figure it out in the last closing minutes.
This is Bursinger in the draw control circle. Another player outstanding, and you're going to see she's going to scoop it up right there. All South region first team for the 3rd time, 145 draw control wins on the season.
Florida Southern graduate. Nursing degree. I know 2 of the more difficult majors, there's a lot of tough majors, pre-med, and any of those sciences are tough, but nursing and teaching, I always think when you're a student athlete, are some of the toughest because of the amount of out-of-class work you're doing or the stuff you need to do that interferes with practice. That went off the goalie.
Oh, my goodness. What a goal by Benedetto. She had 61 points this year. She had 38 goals, 23 assists, but that goal was unbelievable. That's just an outstanding individual effort. Take a look on this replay.
I think that hit Trapani, but it had so much English on it. Shooting across her body. Here we go. We should see her go across her body. I think it hits the stick.
I'm not sure if it did.
I can't tell what that did.
But that was great placement. I think that's the thing about that goal is she placed it exactly where she wanted it. It was impossible to stop. They're going to go right back with Bursinger in the draw control circle. She's going to square off against Isnardi. These are 2 of the best in terms of draws in Division II women's college lacrosse.
Of course, Division II, the smallest of the 3 divisions, but it doesn't mean the talent's any less.
And Bursinger able to deflect that one.
Well-timed. To get in there to win that one was Shiano. Division II actually had their title game 2 weekends ago.
So they were the most well-rested.
Very well-rested. They're actually trying to get back up to speed. Adelphi winning the national championship there.
And Adelphi, when you look at what they've done, exactly, I mean, they have really established themselves.
Shot and a goal is... The South is off to a roll here. Nelson with that one in front.
South goal scored by number 6, Emily Nelson.
So 45 goals, 47 assists on the season. And again, we talked about this in the D1 game, about these players who put up 40-plus goals, 40-plus assists on the year. I mean, that is just an offensive dynamo. And you're going to take another look here at the replay. You see the defense really pressuring.
It's a great
Nelson,
quick shot.
Able to still get her hands free, which is very difficult to do with that type of defensive pressure and get that shot off.
Talking about the challenge of being a nursing graduate. Well, I told you teaching's the other one. Nelson's a secondary education major. The amount of classroom work that they do, and they got an extra player on the North squad. We're saying, come on, isn't that a Hall of Fame coach? How does she have an extra player on the field? Folks, I am not being serious. Having a little fun with Coach Ginny Martino as we get ready to get underway here south. I hope you're enjoying this one on IWLCA TV. I'm Dave McHugh, Monica Moore alongside here in beautiful Sparks, Maryland on top of the hill.
That was a nice draw control win by Brianna Fazio. 151 draw control wins on her season out of Lemoyne.
I asked you this before. Do we count these? Do we count this game in their stats?
I have been counting them, particularly for certain players, as you know, from the Division I game.
We'll even inflate their numbers if we need to, if it tells our story better. It's an all-star game. We're allowed to inflate the story a bit. So far, the South in control of this one. North has not had a possession in their offensive zone yet. South's defense are passing it to each other now because they haven't had the ball. They wanted some time with it. Now they'll get back into the offensive look over the U.S. Lacrosse logo right in front of our broadcast position and get things going. That is Lafler with it. She'll pass it up top to German. I'm just trying to make sure we mention everybody on the field because now Schisler out of Naperville, Illinois, gets the ball. Bunch of schools around Naperville. She chose to go to Grand Valley State.
What a defensive play.
How did that get in the stick of Ray?
So that's Mackenzie Ray, the NE19 midfielder of the year. 93 goals, new single-season record at the school.
First offensive possession for the North. I'm still trying to figure out how Ray got that. Like all of a sudden it was in her cross.
She read it so well.
So the North on the attack. Ray's got it. Spin move, switch hands. No surprise. Gets it stick checked, and a foul will be called. We'll get our first free position of the contest. We're not a lot of these today, but they've been fun while we've had them. Ray, that way this season on the free position, 35 of 55. That's an insane amount of numbers.
Well, she tied her school's single-season record with those 35 free position goals.
35 made's an insane number. 55 taken is an even more insane
But when you
number.
think about the fact that a lot of players score, a lot of great players score 30, 40 goals. She scores 35 on free positions.
She's attacking so much, and they can't stop her or they can't get the slide in place so often that she goes to the free position. And that doesn't even count the one she turns down.
Wow.
What a talk about working for a goal, Molly.
On a show.
Monica, she worked for that one.
Absolutely. We have been so impressed with Courtney Lafler. Again, out of Limestone College.
There's literally no stick check, I believe, by the way, folks. They're throwing the stick checks, just sticks down.
Right. The players are just so used to doing it. It's their mentality.
But I've yet to see an actual stick check by an official. But I mean, why would you? 22 minutes left. If you're new to the All-Star Games, we are running 30 minutes here, which means 30 minutes on the clock, and it does not stop for any reasons whatsoever until the end of each half. And it's 4-0 South. We do know that if we go to overtime, we'll play at Braveheart rule, which is one-on-one with goalies. Monica and I actually learned something new about the game here today.
Well, and it was definitely a lot of fun. You certainly want to see it on replay if you were not able to watch it as it was happening.
You must watch that one again. That'll be worth the price of admission, which is free. As the North goes into the attack here, they down 4-0 early. Just over 21 minutes left to go here in the first half. Number assignments, if you're curious about that and you're looking for your favorite player, don't look for their number. Players are assigned numbers by alphabetical order by position. So A through Z on the attack, then A through Z on midfield, A through Z on defense, and then the goalies, which there are two of. Goalies are 21 and 22 by default. So nobody's got a set, don't get their number, as it were. Pass in front, shot and a goal! It's Jeffress, the East Stroudsburg graduate, gets the North on the scoreboard.
She had 11 hat tricks on the year, tied for the second most in single-season history. She had 5 consecutive hat tricks from March 27th to April 10th. Unbelievable.
That's an insane number by any standard.
Well, I wanted to check my notes before I said this because we've been talking a lot about Courtney Lafler, who has been so impressive so far on the day. I did confirm with my notes 100 goals this season that she scored, along with 25 assists.
That's an insanely good number.
And she has put on a show this afternoon.
Yeah, my notes have 100 too, but that just doesn't feel right, does it?
And speaking of a lot of goals scored, Rachel Elmore just won that draw control. She had 62 on the season for Lenore Ryan.
We were talking about the insane free position numbers. Lafler, 30 of 68 coming in.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, great pass in
Elmore,
front.
just talking about her.
Yes.
She had a season-high 7 goals against Catawba. That was just a great finish.
Assist from number 4, Faith Kent.
And Kent picks up the assist. So Elmore, the White Plains Maryland. I had to look up where White Plains is located. It is south of Washington, D.C., believe it or not. Maryland kind of sneaks in south of D.C. Nice feed in front, picks that one up.
Faith Kent. So she's out of Coker College.
Who'd that come from?
Faith Kent.
Thank you.
She's Coker's all-time points, goals, and assists leader. She was also, get this, the C.G. Timberlake Female Athlete of the Year at Coker College.
Wow. That's saying something. Very impressed.
So is Nardi back into the draw control circle again? She's out of Mercy College. And I believe we have a graphic on her, just what she has done in her career. But she set a new Division II career record for goals. She finished her career with 310 goals, and that's in 77 games. That is a new Division II career record.
That's insane numbers.
She also finished her career with 351 points
Shot
and
in the goal.
694 draw controls.
Benedetto with the goal. Oh, by the way, her second.
Soft goal. Number 1, Aubriana Benedetto.
The talent here in these games
staggering.
has been amazing.
So we're going to get a goalkeeper change right here, and the coaches have been doing this.
Yeah, but the quarter break. Has nothing to do with the score.
Absolutely. And so Ashley Miller is going to come in for the blue team. She's out of the New York Institute of Technology, second team, all ECC. I love this note against her. About her. She had 18 saves in an 8-7 overtime win versus then number 4 LIU Post. 18 saves in that overtime win. And you look at how few goals were scored in that game.
Yes.
8-7 overtime win. Very impressive.
Benedetto's got 2 goals so far in this one. Leffler's got 2 goals so far in this one. And if I have a shameless moment, my son has got 2 goals in the second half of his contest. It's all about the 2 goals here today, folks. It's a 6-1 lead for the South. 17 and a half minutes left to go here in the first half of a running clock all-star game in Division II. The U.S. Lacrosse headquarters. We're in front of the IWLCA building. That's how the 2 groups have come together. On Tierney Field. Beautiful complex.
This is Nardi, who had the draw control win. She's getting a lot of attention on the defensive end, and you knew she
Missed
would.
Somebody there.
With that career record in goals scored, and that was great defense.
Missed the target somewhere.
By Alyssa Vocha.
Vocha picks it up from Limestone. Computer science and web development major. Yeah, I think she might have a career ahead of her.
She was very smart in terms of the majors that she picked.
Yes, she
very
was.
marketable.
She nailed it on that one. Unfortunately, the turnover's going the other direction. Here comes the North. North, appropriately enough, heading north. If you're wondering geography-wise, north is to the left. Forgive my geek moment. So North will go on the attack here, trailing by 5. As we found today, that's an easy number to overcome.
Burrows looking to make something happen.
Oh, great idea, but the middle defender read that well. Was that Cushing? No. Hertz who read that.
And just a great ground ball. That's Valerie Hertz out of Shippensburg University. She is a fixture in that school's record books. 154 career calls, turnovers, 227 career ground balls.
That's a lot.
That is a lot in terms of those defensive numbers.
Well, and again, we talked about this in other games. If you're not familiar with the women's game, more familiar with the men's game, is that's a long pass that wasn't going to get there, picked off by Van Beck. The ground ball is such a difficult number in the women's game. I almost appreciate the ground ball stat in women's game more than the men's. The men's, you can overinflate that number easily because it's any time the ball hits the ground. Women's, it's only when it changes possession will you get credited for a ground ball.
And so, again, if you want to hear that number again,
yes, I want
227 ground balls. And that's second all-time at
Shippensburg
University.
That's almost coming in on 60 a game, 60 a season.
It's unbelievable. And she's also a 2-time Google Cloud Academic All-District 2 Women's at-Large team selection.
And at-large is one of the most difficult to get into. There is not a lacrosse group. There's a basketball group. There's soccer groups. There's football. There's an at-large for sports that don't have their own awards. So track, wrestling, you put them all into one group, and that's the at-large group. So to stand out in that academic group is pretty stellar.
Well, and the note that I read said that this is for Division II athletes who completed her collegiate career with a 3.97 cumulative GPA.
In that all, again, I don't remember how many sports are dumped into that, catch-all, but there's a lot. And I think lacrosse at some point will get its own as it continues to grow. But that's a heck of a standout. Voted on by sports information directors around the country based on your academics and field skills. And once again, Monica, the North has been thwarted.
And great defense.
Watch
by
out.
the south.
Defender wants a goal.
Bursinger doing a great job clearing the ball up the field.
Bursinger looked like she wanted one. She's hanging out still. She's kind of calling for it. Bursinger, though, does have 18 goals and 18 assists on the season. Gets all the way in, shoots, and scores. I'd like to say I called that.
I love it. All South region. First team for the third time this year. Again, she's out of Florida Southern College, a very well-known school in terms of Division II women's lacrosse.
It came from somebody, did it not? No assist called out on that one. I feel like somebody had it. 13 and a half minutes left to go in this running clock situation. It's got a little warm. I'll say for the D2 players, it's definitely the hottest part of the day. They're definitely playing with more heat.
So we've
than
got
D1 or
Rachel
3 played with.
Elmore in the draw control circle alongside Chelsea Abreu. Abreu is from Adelphi, our national champions in Division II women's lacrosse. 10 of 33 goals on the season during the NCAA tournament. Talk about a winner mentality.
Talk about stepping up at the right time.
Helped Adelphi win their 9th national championship.
Monica and I called the Division III championship weekend, Final Four, the semis and championships. We had somebody else for one. Was it Middlebury's team who was like that? Didn't have much stats in the regular season, and then just exploded onto the scene in 3 games coming into the championship weekend. It's fun to see those moments and players shine in those moments.
It's seniors, the experience, the leadership that you see that out of time and time again. They're not wanting their career to end. They're wanting to leave their mark, to put their best foot forward. And the South right now really dominating on the defensive end and the offensive end.
We didn't talk about it in the D1 game, but how about the semifinals in their Final Four? Pass in front, save!
What a kick save!
Using the shin there did Miss Miller. And now a pass back, and she'll pick it up, be harassed a little bit, clear it out. But back to that, in that semifinals, Monica, backup goalies. For both teams, BC was down 6-0. They go to a backup goalie. UNC goes to their backup goalie, and they put on a show in that game, showing you that, everybody can contribute.
Well, absolutely. And you have a lot of players on these rosters. If they went to other schools, they would be starting.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of one of the reasons some of these teams are so good is because playing against their scout teams, sometimes it's worse than playing against their opponents.
That's a great point. You're absolutely right. There are players that don't get the limelight who are just as good as those who do.
I talk with coaches about it time and time again. They point out to me they're unsung heroes, these players that don't get as much playing time because they're playing behind 2 or 3 really great experienced players.
Bad spot. Wow. Opportunity. Shot in the goal. It's Barnett with the goal. The assist coming from Jeffers.
So Barnett finished with 60 goals on the year. 18 assists.
Jeffers gets the assist.
And nice to see Sammy Barnett score that goal. Of course, her team lost to Adelphi in the national championship title game.
Westchester had a great season. You got to give Ginny Martino some credit for being here today. Not being here today, but taking this on top of that. Really impressive. But also having to play with a couple players from Adelphi on your team, too. I wonder how that conversation go. Hey, would you?
Well, the thing is,
like
at that level, the amount of respect
they all know each
these
other.
Players and coaches have for each other. It was really nice after some of these games seeing some of the players on the team that were not those head coaches' players, posing for pictures
with
and
the head coaches,
really just soaking in the moment and just appreciating the fact that there was some of the finest coaches in their division.
South pouring on offensively, but Miller's come up with a couple big stops so far. 7-2, and we're 10 minutes left to go in the first half here.
A little sloppy.
Jeffers' family is clearly in front of us, by the way, as she makes a great play. They rise to their feet, which is always kind of gets us going a little bit.
And the North certainly needs this possession to try to get back in this one as our first half is 2/3 of the way over.
Dwindling to a close. We still got 30 minutes after this. We'll have a 5-minute halftime. Well, we'll show you the beautiful facilities here at U.S. Lacrosse headquarters in the IWLCA building, including the Hall of Fame.
What a stop by the goalkeeper for the South.
That is Newman.
Out of Georgian Court University.
Big save.
15-4 record on the year between the pipes, en route to the Lions' 3rd consecutive conference title. She had 101 saves in 19 starts, including 3 games of 10 or more denials. Wow. Amber Newman.
Again, Division II played their title game 2 weeks ago. So, as Monica said, a little rested, but at the same time.
Just did not have the angle on
Nope.
that one
Tough
for
angle
Courtney
to get
Lafler.
past. Yeah, you're not going to get by Miller on the post. I just don't think that's an option. You got to get Miller moving or attack her from straight on. The post is her bread and butter. She's got that covered.
Great defense
Yeah.
on the back check.
Thought Kesey was going to get into the zone. She didn't. Eventually did when. I'm sorry, wrong one. German,
on the
right?
Back check.
It was Dussing who was bringing it up. Finally brought into the zone by Jeffers, as we mentioned. Phoenixville, Pennsylvania native. Pass up top to Ray, who we've talked about today. Nice spin move. Oh, great stick work there by Sugarman. As Ray switched back to her right hand, Sugarman able to pop
but
it
the finish
loose.
there. Chelsea Abreu out of Adelphi. Again, she was the player we were just talking about that turns it on at the right time. 10 of 33 goals during the NCAA tournament. She had 2 goals, a draw control, and 2 ground balls in the title game.
Assisted by number 10, Taylor Jeffers.
Jeffers has a goal and 2 assists in this contest.
She had a great season as well. Career assist numbers at 73, career goals at 128. And you take a look here at the national championship game, of course, Adelphi.
Oh, guess who just scored? Abreu. She had
Maggie
2 goals
Stella
and an assist in that contest. And
had a
Stella,
goal
yeah.
in that contest
The
as
9th
well.
women's title for Adelphi. And what's crazy is, nothing against Westchester. As we said, they've gotten there, 10 times, 11 times? But only have 2 titles to their credit. They keep running into juggernauts like Adelphi that are tough to beat, as good as Westchester has been.
Look at his Nardi.
Oh! One-handed pickup, scoop, and cradle. Coming the other direction. Finally puts a second hand on it and has it popped free. It's Nardi putting on a show there.
Again, just looking solely based on the numbers. She was probably the player in this entire event that jumped out the most at me in terms of just looking at what she has done in her career.
Missed it on the near post. Backed up, though, by Feminella, her teammate, literally. Oh, no, that's not true. Mercy and Merrimack, those are not the same school.
Wow.
Oh, great steal. Shot, better save from Newman.
Newman has been fantastic back in goal
Stella with a shot on
for
that
the
one.
South.
Stella's going to be yelling Newman's name. Don't turn on Seinfeld. You might get mad. But Stella, out of Westchester as well, one of several Rams on this all-star team with their head coach. You hear Miller screaming commands. Saves
Love
it.
I love the fact that she's
all-star game.
taking over this defense. She's in control.
Oh, missed it as turning away there was Riley initially, but they pick it up, scooped up by Ruffalo. In front to Barnett. Across, great pass. Better pass. What they call a foul? They call.
I think they called a foul.
Called something just before the pass by Feminella, so she's going to get a free position on the near wing. Yeah, you could hear Miller screaming out. Ball location and defensive needs.
Feminella.
All the way in, shot missed the back post.
Went for the bounce shot, which I think was a great shot selection, just could not convert.
She had Newman to the post. She had the open post, just couldn't hit it. I mean, tough angle, don't get me wrong. The closer you get doesn't mean it's an easier shot. Oh, making it look easy, though, is Burrows. Absolute beauty there. North crawls back into this one, down by 3 now. Beautiful come from behind.
Leading goal scorer in IUP history with 291 in her career. First team All-Atlantic region.
Watch this. Comes from behind the cage. Hesitation, then whistles it.
Wow.
Back,
again,
basically back from where she was coming
from.
from.
Right there as well, where she placed the shot. Extremely impressive.
Monica, she's going this way. She starts to get the goalie to come off the post and shoots it back over the shoulder that they came from. It's a tremendously heads-up shot.
I like the strategy right now out of the North as well. So they've got Chelsea Abreu in the draw control circle. They've got Isnardi along the circle.
Pops up. Still loose. Still loose. And finally scooped up
Schiano.
by Schiano. Oh, she crossed up, though, Forrester. The Bloomfield Hills, Michigan native outside Detroit. Went to the University of Tampa, so she traded in Detroit's weather for Tampa's. Good job. I'll give you the win for that.
And just right
nice
into
stick check.
the cross of the defender.
Well, yeah, not a stick check. Stella with a nice stick. That went off the post. Miller was beat, but it went off the post from the shot by Forrester, I believe. There are the calls. I just want to listen to Miller call out the defense.
Well, and in an all-star game, when you're not as familiar with your defense, that's a great strategy in order to direct traffic. And
In front. Are you kidding me?
Nikki Stanko
Stanko.
out of Adelphi.
She stepped in and took that with the stick.
40 ground balls, 40 calls turnovers on the season for Stanko.
Ruffalo a little too far above the head of Abreu, but Abreu picks it up back up, and we get back into the offenses in the north.
That was a great cut by Burrows.
3 straight and sails the pass over the head of Feminella, but you're right. I love the cut from Burrows. North was down 7-2. They've scored 7-2. They've scored. Somehow I've got it wrong. They were down 7-1. I apologize. That's why I've got this screwed up. They're down 7-1. Thank you. Scored 3 straight. I love how on the scoreboard there's a timeout 2 left. Folks, we haven't had a timeout called all day. And I don't expect to see a timeout called. If there is one called, I know what they're going to do. The clock's running. They said no stoppage for anything.
Well, certainly, I think in some of these games we would have seen timeouts. So we
That's
had
true. That's a fair point.
Overtime finish in the D1 game.
If you got a 6-goal deficit, you're going to call a timeout to discuss strategy, right?
But these coaches instead
Good
their
job
players
there.
play.
Lafleur trying to attack defense is tightened up. Oh, no! Miller all over it. All over it on the attempt by Fernandez to go behind the back on her waist, and Miller shut the door.
And you see why Fernandez out of Georgian Court University had 77 goals this year with
saw.
that in her arsenal. All-time leading goal scorer in program history, 8 goals versus Jefferson in her conference tournament title
Isnardi
game.
has it pop free right before she went for the shot, but a foul called nonetheless. Isnardi had a nice little move up the field there. Fans in this D2 game timing their retorts perfectly. Shot in the goal, free position for Isnardi. 90 seconds left.
Again, ECC Midfielder of the Year, first team All-ECC, ECC Best, 99 goals on the year for Hunter Isnardi out of Mercy College.
Mercy, 4 straight. Isnardi helps get them to within 2. I told you, no lead is safe.
Absolutely
it just does not matter.
Absolutely. It has been the South stay here, but
North has shown they finally showed up. Minute left in this half. They're taking their sweet time. Oh, you don't think Coach Martino's not pulling out strategies? He just went for a late line change.
Wholesale line change.
You don't think that's a strategy to kill some clock? They literally leaped off the bench. You know what? I wonder what it's like, especially if you're a PSAC member. You've gone up against Coach Martino and her squads all your career, and now you get a chance. And it's nothing against your head coach. Don't get me wrong. But now you get a chance to get coached by Coach Martino. That's got to be a cool experience.
Absolutely.
Even if it is an all-star game.
Oh, look at this. What an effort by
work.
Chelsea Abreu.
In
Great
front.
pass.
Oh, could not hold on to it. It was Wilson.
What a great idea by Fazio.
Great idea. Perfect execution. I bet you Wilson gets that more times than not. And, jeez,
Things are heating up here.
Wilson nearly got it back. She caught that in front and wheeled, but could not find the net.
That was a lot of offense to close out this first half, and great awareness of the clock. They were not wasting time on that possession.
This is an all-star game? I think I've said that all 3 games because it has been fun to watch these 2 teams playing so well. Goalie play especially. Top-notch. We can take a break. We got a 5-minute halftime. We'll give a chance to introduce you to the IWLCA building, the Hall of Fame and Museum here at the U.S. Lacrosse facilities, and we'll come back, maybe some highlights, but more importantly, we'll get you ready for the final 30 minutes of this all-star extravaganza. You're watching the Division II Senior IWLCA All-Star Games here on IWLCA TV. Welcome back as the draw is up, and we're back underway for the second half of the Division II Women's Senior IWLCA All-Star Game. The final 30 minutes of All-Star action here at the U.S. Lacrosse headquarters in Sparks, Maryland. IWLCA is part of this festivity and location, and we are underway quickly by the North, who's within one. I was so impressed with the goal, I totally lost track of who scored it.
Chelsea Abreu.
Thank you. That's goal number 2. And Fazio picks up her first assist of the contest, and suddenly it's a 5-goal run, continues, makes it 7-6.
An interesting series because Fazio plays for Lemoyne that lost to Adelphi in the East Regional Final in double overtime. And, of course, Chelsea Abreu plays for Adelphi, so that was a great combination right there between those two players. No hard feelings today. These athletes just enjoying playing with each other on this great day. Some of the best college lacrosse you're going to see because you've got the All-Stars from the senior class, the class of 2019. Wow, what an effort by Abreu.
Pretty impressive. Remember the South, it was pretty much leaning in their favor in this direction towards the South, interestingly enough, on the compass, and looked like they were fully in control. I told you no lead was safe. Well, the North has proven that, and they continue to prove that. The question is, at what point does the field slant back towards the left? You got a feeling that at some point the South will regain its mojo. So the North is looking good so far, and I think a cross-check call, Abreu. You're right, I'm hearing the PA announcer say Abreu. I'm looking at it and thinking the baseball player Abreu, but clearly it's Abreu, as her faithful yell out her name. I'm going to stick with Monica on this. Shot in the goal! It's Ray.
University of New Haven grad, 93 goals on this season. Again, we talked about it, single-season record at the school. 72 draws on the year, and there's 35 free position goals. Unbelievable.
There are a couple players with insane free position numbers as you see this one again. Riley for the North team out of Assumption, 22 of 45. Isnardi, 25 of 39 for Mercy. 35 of 55 for Ray, as we mentioned earlier. Those are just on the North squad. On the South team, you know, let's put Benedetto into that conversation, 15 of 29, Germans 14 of 30. But Kent, 24 of 36, Laffler, 30 of 68. There are some players on this team that just excel at getting free position opportunities and then taking them.
Absolutely. And this is Bersinger in the circle. And
I barely got in the air.
This is a great stat about Bersinger. So
yeah.
She and one of her teammates both 100-plus draw control wins on the season. So it's Danny Bersinger, 145 season draw wins, 439 career. Samantha Kesey, 110 wins on the season, 233 on the year. Again, both those players out of Florida Southern. How often do you have two
shot
players?
In front, too easy. What a pass from Riley to Fazio.
Nice to see Fazio get rewarded after she had that beautiful assist.
No, they give it to Wilson. I read the jersey wrong. So Riley in front, right? Hold on. Fazio, sorry. It's all
Fazio
blurring
with
together.
The goal, Riley with the assist. Or sorry, Wilson.
Wilson,
with the assist,
see, I did it.
right?
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Wilson, yes.
Malloy College
By
grad.
the way, 7-goal run here, taking 8-7 lead, but you were saying.
So Brianna Wilson, Malloy College grad, fourth in the NCAA in points with 118, 67 goals, and 51 assists. Program's all-time singles and single-season goal, assist, and points record holder, 10 or more points 2 times in 2019.
8-7, the lead for the North, who trailed 7-1 in this contest.
What a draw control win.
And finally, the South gets the ball. I should point out, by the way, for the North, they got Trapani back in goal. They're playing that quarters game. So Miller probably the second half of this half. Shot and a goal scored by Elmore, her second of the contest.
And she was the one with the draw control win as well. So Rachel Elmore really doing everything on that possession.
German gets the assist. Haven't talked about German very much. Out of Rollins.
She was an IWLCA all-region performer in all 4 seasons of her career, and she led the Sunshine State Conference in assists this year with 49 and gets a nice assist there.
If I were to tell you 20 minutes of lacrosse had gone by and somebody had not scored in a regular season game, that's a noteworthy accomplishment. I think it's even more noteworthy when we just had it happen for the South squad in an all-star game.
Certainly a game of runs here today for these 2 squads, and we've seen this in all the competitions, all 3 that we have been able to enjoy. And so this is going to be Bursinger once again in the draw control circle for the South and doing such a great job working with Rachel Elmore.
Elmore in position to just take that one right out of the sky. Double team, though, comes over, and she gets it stick checked away by Ruffalo. Up ahead now to Stella.
Led her team in calls turnovers, 52. Led her team in ground balls with 70. She's out of East Stroudsburg
And just
University.
saw both of those there.
Very impressive. Also had 81 draw controls.
I'm waiting for another another
48 goals.
There we go.
21 assists.
Okay. Anything else?
These midfielders, they fill up the stat sheet.
Yeah,
they are stat sheet stuffers. Everything you could want out of midfielders, we have them today.
70% of her shots are on cage. I'm just trying to find something
The
else
list
about
goes
her.
on and on. Obviously, we're very impressed with Emma Ruffalo's numbers.
44% of her shots find the back of the net. That's not a bad percentage, to be honest with you. 44%! Sailed a little high, back up. Couldn't get it out of her cross cleanly, as I think the shot by Jeffers went into the back of Elmore.
Blue team still fighting for the ball. What a great move
Shot in
inside.
the goal! It's Ruffalo! We seem to have a habit, Monica,
I know.
that we
She
start
heard us
mentioning somebody.
talking about her and felt like she needed to make some things happen out on the field. And what a great goal. That was a great individual effort by Ruffalo.
Makes it 8-9. Or 9-8, I apologize. And we'll get shift changes for both
Yeah,
teams.
a bunch
here.
of different players coming out on the field. But it is
Lot of
very hot today.
Yes, and I think you're starting to notice that for this game. D3, it was cooler. D1, we were kind of crossing into that, and they all kind of had a chip on their shoulder. This game, I'm noticing the heat's kind of taking its toll a little bit more, I think, for both teams. They're a little bit slower than I think they would normally be. Remember, it's a turf field. It adds heat, 10 to 15 degrees sometimes. Though it's a great turf field.
Shiano in the draw control circle. She's going to square off against Fazio. Fazio almost self-won that.
Yeah.
And
she did with the violation. Gets it up ahead to Stella. Oh, watch out. Coming in front. Could not get it to a great defensive stick work by Blackburn.
Goalkeeper lucky that the ball stayed in the crease.
Yes. Blackburn, by the way, timing that. She's out of Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Smallest state in the union. But a heck of a place to visit if you get the opportunity. Using her speed, crossing in is Benedetto. Nice pass in front. Opportunity for Schisler. Shot in the goal.
Carly
Passed
Schisler.
it up. Or did Schisler? I thought she passed it up maybe to Elmore. I'm going to wait for the call from our PA announcer. I thought I maybe missed something.
South goal scored by number 9, Caroline Forrester.
She gave it up to Forrester. So right at the last second,
Assist by number 11, Carly Schisler.
Schisler gave that one up. And what an effort. Sometimes the unselfishness of players always amazes me.
So Schisler had 22 assists on the season. She
Check
had
it out again.
88 points
See her give it up.
altogether. What a great
Right.
pass to find Forrester, who, by the way, is playing for her head coach today.
Yep.
She's a University of Tampa player. But Schisler started all 18 games for Grand Valley State, scored a team best 66 goals, as we talked about, dished out 22 assists, set the GVSU single season record with 93 draw control wins, caused 24 turnovers, and collected 43 ground balls. Again, these midfielders, they're
They're amazing.
unbelievable. You just cannot imagine the caliber.
That ball didn't get very high. The officials don't care. 20 minutes plus left in this one. By the way, the other goalie for the North is we mentioned Trapani. It's Pierre, for the South, as both coaches have gone to the quarters method. So the first stoppage, anywhere close to 15, they're going to switch out keepers.
And I like the quarters method, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
I don't like
Nice
having to have the
save.
goalkeeper stand over there for a whole half
Yeah.
and not get into the action. So I'm with the Division I coaches and the all the coaches that have done that here today.
I think only one went full half. It was the D3 game. because I think they switched. One of the teams switched to quarters there too, if I remember correctly. It's all blur. It's been 3 games. Oh,
wow.
what a!
Speaking of the goalkeepers.
Yes, Miller just. I'm sorry, not
Pierre.
Miller. Pierre just stepped into the Haymarket Virginia native. Uh-oh, she's got a mission.
Oh,
she lost
it's
it.
An all-star
She's
game.
going to stick with it. She's going to stick with it. She gives it up finally.
It's an all-star game.
She had a bigger idea in her mind, I believe. One of these goalies actually does have a goal or 2 on their career mark, I believe. But I went and decided to get rid of all the career marks out of my stat sheet, so I lost track of that one. But somebody had like 2 or 3 goals on their career.
Well, Pierre, first player in program history to record over 600 saves.
Shot, save, or not save, goal. Believe that was Benedetto.
South goal scored by number 4.
Nope.
Kent.
Apparently I can't read. So Kent picks up the goal.
And we've talked about Kent. She had an assist earlier in this contest.
Yep.
Led the Southern Athletic Conference in points this year with 82 and with goals with 60.
South regains the lead. They had led 7-1, was down 8-7, 9-8. Now they lead 10-9.
I have to tell you, one of the things I've loved so much about this game is I just saw Mackenzie Ray come off the field, and I'll just pick her out because I just saw her. The biggest smile on her face, kind of laughing, saying something to head coach Ginny Martino. I just love the feel of this. These players are so happy. All the smiles, the laughs that we're seeing on the sidelines. I mean, what a great way to wrap up your college experience.
Overtime game, Anderson got beat mano a mano and came off with the biggest smile.
Because who would not want to have that experience?
Yeah. Even in a loss, look what I did.
And she won a fantastic draw control.
She did, and she actually nearly scored falling to the ground.
It was a great individual effort by Kylie Anderson, by Hannah
Oh,
David.
what a feed! Shot in the goal! Burroughs finds Barnett. 10-10.
Scored by number 1, Sammy Barnett.
The feed here.
These assisted goals that we've seen
Barnett
in this contest. And
second.
again, you know, these players don't play together every single day, so they don't have that chemistry that you gain for if you have played with someone for 4 years. Like they've had players on their team this year where they do
here you
have
go
that
again. Look
experience.
at that
Take another
little
look at
quick one.
the feed, the catch, the shot. Barnett with the finish.
Well, Burroughs is out of Marcellus, New York. Barnett's out of Glen Olden, Pennsylvania. She played for Westchester while Burroughs played for IUP. They may have crossed paths, but I wouldn't argue that they – I mean, I don't know their history that well, but how much have they really played ever maybe on the same field where they weren't going at each other?
So Forrester in the draw control circle. She's the Spartans' second leading goal scorer, again playing today for her head coach. 47 goals on this year for the University of Tampa. But what a win is Nardi.
Win.
You can't stop Isnardi.
No, can only hope to contain her. Stella now with it. Stick checked away by Vosha. As the North continues its attack, we're in a tie ball game, 10-10. Look for goalie changes at the next opportunity, by the way. Up front, switch of hands, shot in the goal. It's Stella.
And it was a great look. I believe that was Sarah Riley that got the ball to Stella. It was a great find.
Assist by number 5, Sarah Riley.
It was Sarah Riley on the assist. Career assist at 82. Sarah Riley's out of Assumption College.
Goalie switch, at least for the South squad. North has not done it, so into the game comes Newman, the Georgian graduate out of Brick, New Jersey. Pierre will exit. Represented Wingate well here today. No goalie change as of yet on the north side. I expect Miller will get back in, but maybe giving Trapani just a wee bit more time.
Bursinger back in the draw control circle for the South. So we talked about the season numbers that she and her teammate put up this year. Samantha Kesey. Wow, that one went straight up. You don't see that all the time. Bursinger winning it, getting it quickly up ahead to Rachel Elmore, who has been a huge part of the draw control unit here today.
Yep. Well, interesting note here to this, just to distract.
What an interception by the goalkeeper for the North Trapani.
Trapani, good reason to keep her in there. It's like Coach Martino knows what she's doing.
7th in the country in save percentage.
Yes. Very good. I mean, underrated. Actually, Trapani's working her way up the field. I think we're going to get the more in the flow goalie change here as Miller has worked her way to the edge of the substitution box as well. Miller looking a little confused. I'm distracted because I'm fascinated with the goalie change that might happen here in the flow of the game, but the change not. It is now with Burrows. Burrows somehow gets it to Jeffress, who misses the net.
That we're seeing, I mean, I think it stood out to me the most in the Division II game of any of the ones we've seen today. All the assisted goals, just the fluidity.
Well, even if it's not an assist,
there's
another one.
Unbelievable.
And guess what? It's the same group.
With the assist.
It's Burrows to Barnett. Barnett gets the hat trick, and Burrows gets a second assist.
Number 1, Sammy Barnett.
Okay, they were clearly out here practicing at dawn, perfecting that. I mean, these players look like they played together for years.
Or at their hotel rooms, maybe?
Unbelievable.
Biggest lead for the North today, 12-10, up by 2, and now we get the goalie change officially as Miller is in, and Trapani, who represented Merrimack extremely well. The exercise science and sports medicine, I put them both in because depending on where you look on her bio, it says exercise science, and another place it says sports medicine. I really wasn't sure which one she is. Either way, the Amherst, New Hampshire native represented well. Hats off to her, to say the least. I do have a note about Miller and her teammate Brooke Basso when we get an opportunity because they have a fascinating story. But we'll get to it after we get going here because usually when I start going into a story, something happens. You've had better luck today. As the analyst, you should.
And another great battle on a draw
Great
control.
win
It is Chelsea
by
Abreu again is Nardi and Abreu.
Oh, back up, shot, goal! It missed the intended target of Basso and hits Jeffress instead. She's got 2 goals on the day.
2 assists, I believe, as well.
Yes, she does have 2 assists. She had 2 of the first 3. She scored in all. She was involved in all 3 of the first goals.
North goal, scorer number 10, Taylor Jeffress.
And she had 4 goals, including the game winner in a 12-8 victory over Mercyhurst in the opening round of the D2 tournament this year.
They didn't want to give an assist on that one. I wanted to, but they didn't. Jeffress, though, outstanding. And sometimes it's being at the right place. Understand the game of being at the right place. You know that pass is coming to X, but if it doesn't get to X, you want to be in a position to be there and play it.
That's what the best players do, is they read the defense so well. They're in the right place at the right time. They just have an innate sense almost in terms of where they need to be, as we are going to get the infraction there to give the ball to the North.
Infraction in an all-star game? This is getting ridiculous. We need to talk to these officials.
Well, this is Basso with possession.
Yeah, I'll tell the Basso story along with Miller. The 2 of them, their freshman year, were at Dowling College, which announced one day near the end of the season, oh, by the way, we're closing tomorrow. Yes, I mean tomorrow we are closing. And so that Miller, 12 of their teammates, and their head coach, Kerry Handras, all went to New York Tech. Now, here's the trick. There's a nice steal on the other end defensively. New York Tech did not have a lacrosse program. Their long-range plan was to put one in place in about 4 or 5 years. They saw Dowling close. They called the head coach, immediately said, come here, we'll start it next year. We'll just go right into it. That's what they did. And that program has put New York Tech on the map, nationally ranked this season.
Wow.
At 24 to close out the season.
It's one of the greatest stories
it's
all
awesome.
year in terms of these players.
But giving them a chance to play.
Exactly.
Who cares where they finished? It gave that entire Dowling squad, and 14 of them took them up on it with their head
what
coach.
About New York Tech? Take advantage of an opportunity.
Absolutely. Talk about being quick to the draw. The head coach or the athletic director being fast enough to think that one through.
To think that through, but also to be able to make it happen, because when you have a budget and it's in the long-term plan, but it's not in the short-term plan.
Right.
It's very difficult to make something like that happen from a budgetary standpoint.
Yeah, you need year to develop and put systems in place and finances in place and scholarships. You're pulling the trigger in 24 hours.
Unbelievable.
And so I found that story fascinating as Miller comes up with a save. Thank you, Miller, for timing that perfectly.
That's a movie-worthy story.
But imagine you get told, and a great shot there from Elmore to beat Miller and cut the deficit to 2.
Top goal, scored by number 8, Rachel Elmore.
But
by number
the
3,
fact
Kelly
that you're
Gallagher.
willing to just pull the trigger and then just come to the –
Well, not to mention these student athletes.
Right.
I mean, That's a huge thing to comprehend and to get mentally okay with. That, okay, this was not my plan, but this is the opportunity for me. And instead of trying to transfer somewhere else.
I think they said they're 15 minutes apart. I could be wrong on that last part, but I know the schools were relatively close. But again, hey, we're going to add women's lacrosse, but we're going to probably do it in about 4 or 5 years. Wait, Dowling's closing. What if we reach out to the team? Tell them to come here. And you know the expectations are nil. Just come here. Play lacrosse. You've got nothing to lose. And it's the easiest transfer in the world because your school's closing and you don't have to fit in with another school. It's an incredible opportunity. Hats off to New York Tech, to say the least. There's a lot of schools in New England, down in the New York area, that are in danger or have closed all of a sudden. And it's a trend because it's tough to keep schools open these days. And hats off to New York Tech for that response. Anyway, that was my story. I got it in. 9:15 left to go in the second half of this All-Star game.
Wow.
Feed in front goal is all of a sudden the South has come alive.
Another assisted goal, Fernandez with the finish. But again, the assist is what set it up. So that was Katie Wardell out of Queens University in Charlotte with the assist. She had 57 goals, 13 assists this year. She managed 89 draw control wins, had 247 wins in her career, which tops the program at Queens University of Charlotte.
Yeah, that's the interesting one. If you're thinking Queens University, no, it's not New York. It is Queens University of
Well, I'm
Charlotte.
from North Carolina, so
You
I
know
was
that.
thinking
Great
Charlotte.
review there. You know that better than anybody would. But nice job by Wardell there. Again, as you mentioned, communications major with a minor in sports medicine media out of Ellicott City, Maryland. 57 goals this season, 70 points. But it's the assist there that's the most impressive thing that she's done in that play.
So Bursinger, again, one of our draw control specialists here. And again, she plays all over the field, but certainly specializes in terms of her ability to win the draw for her team.
Oh, what a win by Ruffalo, who transferred, by the way, from Gardner-Webb after her freshman year. Doing pretty well, I would say, for East Stroudsburg.
Look at that defense.
Yes, hounding defense. Pops it free. Good work by Van Beck, the Atlanta, Georgia native, who went to Rollins and get a free position, though, later in the play here for Riley.
So Van Beck, one of our defenders who had a golden assist this year as well.
Come on, Samantha.
Wow, what a stop.
Riley with a shot, but Newman the better stop. Newman, 7.5 minutes left to go here. 13-12 lead for the North.
Newman is out of Brick, New Jersey, registered a season best 11 saves on 2 separate occasions this year. One of those was against East Stroudsburg, by the way.
Every coach has had a piece of paper and some notes. Coach Martino's got that. But she's also walking the entire length of her side of the field.
So
she is
involved
patrolling.
and invested in this game. It reminds me, you and I were just at this field about a month ago. We got to watch Taylor Cummings, the greatest lacrosse player in the history of the game, coaching her team now, McDonough. She did the exact same thing.
She was all over the place.
She was right in front of us. We're in the exact same spot watching her coach her team.
It reminds me a little bit of the old lacrosse rules when you could have a coach on the full length of the field and they used radios. These coaches still patrol at least their half the field in the same manner now as we get a nice turnover.
They have their boundaries. They stay within them.
They stay within, but no radios anymore.
And
an errant pass from Miller. Yeah. Miller is a psychology major. I always fascinated with what they may do with their careers and how much lacrosse will impact or playing sports. That opportunity for Wardell was thwarted. Looking for the cutters. Up top, they'll reset here with Bursinger. Oh, spin move. Bursinger shot in the goal.
Danny Bursinger, what a game she's had.
South goal, scored by number 7, Danny Bursinger.
So Bursinger gets it, ties it at 13.
And again, she's known for her draw control. She had 18 goals and 18 assists this year, but she's known for the draw control wins, the 145 she put together this year, the 439 she put together in her career, but that was a great goal.
Who would believe me if I told you this was 7-1 South at one point?
Well, I think anyone who's been here for all 3 of these games would believe you because we've seen the great comebacks. That's been the theme of the day.
Oh, absolutely.
Comebacks and surprises.
Scoreboard has not held a lead yet today. No game has been in hand ever. The D3 game came down to a last-second goal. The D1 game came down to a last-second goal to force overtime, which they played, as they call it, Braveheart mano-a-mano rules. And now this D2 game is knotted at 13 with 5 minutes left of a running
and do you
clock.
kind of hope there's no more goals so we go
Yes,
to
I do.
overtime
Actually,
again?
I do. I'm absolutely rooting for that, or at least both teams.
Yeah, exactly. They go one
goal
for
per
one.
goal. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to see a run here. I want to see this overtime
again.
I'm almost disappointed now in D3 for not doing it. I mean, all 3 games should have gone to mano-a-mano. A little confusion here on what the call was and who need. This is the one thing, Monica, I don't know how you feel about the women's game. I understand they still have the rule that if you foul somebody, you got to go behind somebody, but that is what's now interrupting the flow of play that they're trying to get into the game. That, like the men's game, you can pick up and go. I get there's a foul. I think the resetting of the individual needs to be reevaluated.
Well, there certainly have been making a lot of changes, though, to kind of
and it's been a
increase
lot,
the flow of
right.
the game. But it's they have to take incremental steps.
The trick is, I realize I don't want the person who fouled to necessarily get back down into the play, but here's the thing. In the men's game, they're in the play. Who cares? You've still got the ball is what the primary focus is.
Wow.
Oh, no, got stick checked out.
Checked from behind, I believe.
Yes. Stella had the opportunity, and I think it might have been, was it Schisler?
Oh, my goodness, and that was a hit to the head, and
yeah.
hopefully, let's see, that was
banged up
Valerie
there for his Hertz, the Shippensburg graduate.
And that's probably the
it's the
worst
first time I've seen the goggles come off
hit
today
that we've seen today.
Yep.
And certainly she looks to be okay. Got awfully quiet here.
Yes.
I think the whole crowd we've not seen anything kind of come close to that in terms of hits to the head.
Well, it's such a competitive atmosphere in these All-Star games, but it's been so well played.
Absolutely. It's been very clean.
Yes, and so to see that just kind of surprised everybody. I think even the players, even the ones who commit the foul, it's like, oh, I didn't mean that.
Absolutely not. No, never intentional. And again, these players, they respect the game so
Yes.
much, respect the rules
Play it
of
hard.
it.
Play it hard, play it
The
clean.
fact that they're trying to keep their game without helmets, they're trying to keep it back in its original style.
This is about the cleanest game you and I
agree.
have seen in
I agree. They have all been
years.
very clean.
Shows it can be done, but also shows just what kind of atmosphere you need, though, for it. We'll see. Maybe the All-Star games is where you can still play without the helmet. How about that rule? Less than 3 minutes I'm making stuff up. Less than 3 minutes to play here in overtime. In the second half of our final All-Star game and the first defensive cheer for
Wow, what a
fan.
stop.
Miller,
Oh, my
and off
goodness.
the crossbar. Miller off her stick, off the crossbar, and over.
At the next break, I'm going to beg to see that replay again because that was quite a stop.
Just beg now. That was
That
incredible.
was such a play by the goalkeeper, Ashley Miller.
She thought she had it, too. It just creeped over his shoulder, hit the crossbar, and rolled over.
Again, these goalkeepers today have a tall task, and they have all been up to the challenge.
Trying to bring it up was Dussing. Haven't talked about her out of Lemoyne.
I mean, you have to talk about the fact that she made that save in a 13-13 tie ball
Good
game.
call. Yeah. We are 2 minutes left in the contest, and teams are looking a little gassed. I think the Heat took.
It's the Heat.
Yeah, it took toll on these D2 teams.
These coaches have done an exceptional job trying
Agreed.
to get new players at fresh feet on the field, but it is so hot out here.
It's just a different. Oh, what a stop defensively by Blackburn.
Out of Limestone College, four-time All-Conference Carolinas honoree. 38 calls turnovers on the year.
Well, she just caused another one.
And that was a big one. To
90
keep this
seconds.
game knotted.
90 seconds. 13 apiece in a game that the South led 7-1. I've had fun here today, and this one's coming down to the end again for us on IWLCA TV. Miller's a stop!
Miller again! Now we need a highlight reel of the Ashley Miller save.
She went from one side to the other
Oh,
and
my
shut
goodness.
the door on Benedetto. Benedetto said no, wanted that one badly, and Miller just calmly stepped in front of her. Now you know why she's here as an all-star.
Well, again, looking at what she
Cabri.
did against LIU Post, I was not
good point.
surprised to see her on this roster. And the clock's going to keep running.
And we got a restart. 49 seconds left. North trying to win this in the end. Remember, if they score, the clock will continue to run. 41 seconds
what a
in front.
find.
Missed
Oh,
it.
and the defensive
Shot it too
check.
soon. Abreu didn't have it in her cross. The North picks it up. Heading down the other way, it's Simpson. 28 seconds left. They cross the line. Now it's up to German. She's got a lane. Pass to the left. Shot, and they beat Miller.
Oh, my goodness.
19 seconds left. I don't think they can restart this soon enough.
That was Emily Nelson.
Scoreboard number 6, Emily Nelson.
She already has a goal today.
Assist from number 3, Callie German.
Callie German once again with an assist.
And that's how this one's going to finish, folks.
Unbelievable. There's no time.
No,
and,
don't have time to get it reset.
I wanted overtime, but take a look at this goal.
Oh.
This is so impressive. This is the next best thing
Miller
to
had it
overtime
too.
right here at the buzzer. Can't take anything away from Ashley Miller. She had 2 huge saves to keep this score knotted up, but that was an unbelievable goal. The finishes we've had in these games, you could not ask for closer finishes. You could not ask for better play. I could not be more impressed with these All-Stars.
South led this 2-1 or 7-1. They got down 13-10, come back with 4 straight to win this one at the end. Unbelievable lacrosse here today. From all 6 teams involved, I don't want to do the math. 6 times 22, you do it. You can figure out how many players were on the field. The coaches did an amazing job. This was a blast. These 2 teams put on a show, so did the other 4. And this is why they put these games together.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the big reasons they do this is to inspire those players coming up through the ranks, the younger players. And I know a lot of players have their own events here in this area today. But for the players that came out and got to see this caliber of lacrosse.
We'll get to watch it later.
Unbelievable. Yep, they can check it out.
Miller's going to lead the way for the North squad on the handshakes. We'll find out who the most outstanding player was. By the way, it was Haven, right? In the D2,
it was
in the
Haven.
D1 game, right?
It was Haven.
So far, the ones who have basically hit the game winners have gotten the Outstanding Player Awards. We're fascinated on who they're going to give it to here because I think they got a pick of the litter.
They certainly do. I think it's not as clear
some of the
in
highlights
this
from this one
contest, but of course you do have the game winner, and that was perhaps the most important goal in the game.
Oh, just the passing.
That was the thing that stood out to me in the D2 game. We talked about the fluidity of the D3 game. We talked about just
the grind it out.
The mentality in the Division I game, and I think the unselfishness and the passing in this game, they were all very different games.
Field awareness in D2.
And they're making the announcement right now, and they're going to give it to Emily Nelson.
Why not?
We were so impressed with her. Out of McKendree.
They gave it to the game winner.
Well, I would have done the same thing because it's almost impossible to pick off of this squad.
Absolutely agree with you.
Very happy for Emily
You and I
Nelson.
had some questions about some all tournament selections last weekend. I don't have any issues with the selections here today. What an outstanding set of games here at the U.S. Lacrosse headquarters in Sparks, Maryland. The IWLCA part of this facility, and they hosted a fun set of games here for Division III, Division II, and Division I All-Stars. The seniors officially wrap up their careers, those who played here today. Final thoughts from you, Monica.
Well, first of all, I just want to congratulate all these seniors for 4 fantastic years, to thank them for letting us watch such amazing lacrosse throughout their careers. And, of course, on this field here today. This was an amazing event put on by the IWLCA, by U.S. Lacrosse. Glad that we could be a part of it. I could not have asked for 3 better games.
No.
I think that's what's staggering to me. You know it's an all-star game, but sometimes you come to these and they're very lopsided.
Yep.
That was not the case today. It was literally the best you could have asked for in each of the 3 games. You don't always get that in any game, much less all 3 across the board. The level that they've raised things to this year, I can't imagine what it's going to be like in 2020.
Yeah, a lot of fun here. For our entire crew and Monica Moore, I'm Dave McHugh. There's the winner in the D1 game in the mano a mano as all 3 games put on a show here in Sparks, Maryland. Congratulations to the seniors. Congratulations to their programs. And congratulations to the IWLCA for putting on a fun event. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you back here sometime in the future for our entire crew. Thanks for watching here on IWLCA.tv.